What's up, YouTube fam? It's your favorite girl, Jay Shara, coming back to you with yet another reaction video. Today's video that I'm going to be looking... I literally cannot hear. Today's video that I'm going to be looking at is coming from TUPAC Shakur. If you've been with me lately, you would know that I've been reacting to a few of his interviews that he done before he passed. And this one was recommended on the last one I believe I did, which was the MTV, where he talked about his life, growing up poor and different things like that. But this video was recommended to me under that comment section. Why can't I talk? Under that comment section, and this one is the 1988 high school interview. I think this is the youngest he's been in any interviews that I've watched thus far. I just thought about it. I should have done the interviews in chronological order, or at least from latest to earliest, to see. Maybe that's what I should do. I think this is his earliest interview and then go from there until he aged. I feel like that would have gave me better insight, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We're gonna get right into the video. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and we're gonna get right into it.
Okay, my name is TUPAC Shakur, and I attend Parental High School, and I'm 17 years old. And it's like 17 is such a weird age. It's such in the middle age. You're not 18 yet, and you're older than 16s. But I like it. It's like a learning stage for me.
What age did he get famous?
Well, 18 will bring lots of responsibilities that I don't want, but it'll bring respect that I feel like that's the only way I can get it. You know, I try to be as mature as I can be and demand it wherever I can get it. But 18 is like, you're an adult.
Right.
Like today when I had to sign the release form, I felt so bad because I couldn't sign it myself. I had to go and get my mother's and all that. But 18 it's just society's way of saying that you're ready. But 17, like, I think I'm ready now, as ready as I'm gonna be in this world. But so it's okay. I guess 17 is alright.
Do you think that you should be given more responsibilities, or that you have much more value than adults place on you?
Well, the way that my mother brought me up is no lies, no, total truth. Everything is real in society. You know, everything. If something's going on wrong in the house, I know everything. So it was like I was given the responsibility before I wanted it, and so now I can't really differentiate what great responsibility is because I've had it for so long. You know, so she taught me how to be ready for it, and so that's good. And I think it's good because I know that, and it's taught me that when you get out there, the responsibility is staggering, and I'm ready. I'm going to be a little more ready
than
someone
your counterparts in shelter.
You know, with Santa Claus is coming.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think I'm growing up good, as in all sense of the word. I think I'm growing up and learning about responsibilities and everything.
That's good.
The hardest thing about being my age is...
Wait, before he says that, I feel like I have this question. I had this question before, whether or not parents should basically not baby, but shelter their children in a way to where they can protect their innocence, and they do have that normal childhood where he said believe in Santa Claus, Disney kids, or should parents from the jump teach them right from wrong, not right from wrong, but teach children the harsh truths or the real realities of the world? Or do you just find the balance in between that? So what do you guys think? Do you think parents should teach their children the whole truth, nothing but the truth, or do you think they should like keep them protected and be Disney kids and naive and stuff like that? Like, let me know in the comments, because that's a question that I had before, so I'm glad he brought that up.
The hardest thing about being my age is proving to society that I understand what's going on. Like, not everybody, but frequently, teenagers are stereotyped in being loud music loving, girl chasing, car wanting, not caring about the world, cokeheads, drinking coke and smoking and being drug addicts, and I mean, in some ways we are. I mean, I chase girls and want the car and loud music, but I like to think of myself as really being socially aware, and not just socially aware as being trendy, being peace, not that. I really think that that teenagers, they got a lot of responsibilities and a lot of burdens because, in fact, we're given a horrible world. We're given the gift that we're getting when we got to take over. It's horrible. They left us. They're leaving this world in bad shape for us to fix up. So I think that we deserve a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Because, in the 60s, they changed a lot, and those teenagers were given respect because they changed a lot, and they did a lot. We're given no respect, and we have to do a lot. I mean, the world ain't no secret, but the world is in bad shape. So we have to do a lot. We have to do a lot of good things. So I think we deserve a little bit more respect.
And why do you think it is that adults don't even respect you?
Fear. They're scared. They're scared of watching us grow up. They're scared that when we get the power or responsibilities that we won't be able to handle it. And they're scared that well, I don't think, in this generation, I don't think that a lot of adults put enough into their children. I'm glad my mother did, but I don't think that a lot of children growing up lost in the sauce. And I think that they're scared because they're realizing it now that, I didn't teach them this, I didn't teach them that. We didn't learn it. Look at unsafe sex and drugs. You could tell, if you look at the statistics, they're staggering again, and so I think they're scared because they're realizing that they goofed, they really messed up, and also teenagers are angry. At least this generation seems a little angrier than me, and a little bit more rebellious and uninvolved. So they're scared because they're realizing that what's going to happen when you get all these people in power. But also just because it's human nature to be scared to watch a child grow up, and you don't want to give him that yet. It was funny. Being a kid, like my little cousin, Hiroji, he's 3, and everything to him is happy. The only thing that makes him unhappy is when things are over. When you turn something off and when the television goes off, when it's time to go to bed, or when he has to come in the house. Everything is over. That's bad, And when you're an adult, when something is over, that's like, it's the opposite, when it's over, it's good, I'm off work, it's over, vacation, it's over, God, she's out of the house, my children in college, it's over, oh my God, and so it's that difference, and children see things so great. If the world could, what happens is that adults complicate things, and children don't. As simple as this, the sky is blue. And adults, when they go, the sky is blue. Why is it blue? Because birds and bees and everything wasn't meant to be analyzed. And that's where I think kids are happy. Kids are definitely happy. And more
Speaking
relaxed.
on that point, everything does not have to be analyzed. That's one of the main reasons why I cringe whenever I go on social media, specifically when I get on Twitter. Everyone's talking about this and that. Everyone's making these large think pieces. Everyone's discussing their feelings. It's just so much going on about who, what, where, when, and why. And it's like he said, everything does not have to be analyzed. Like, we make everything so way too complicated. And it's honestly so annoying.
Okay, from my mother's point, well, if you grew up happy, too happy, like in fairy tale land, not fairy tale, I mean, if you grew up where, every Christmas you got a present, and every birthday you got a present, and every holiday was a holiday, and everything was peachy, your parents took care of everything, and you just grew up. I don't think that prepares you for the world.
Right.
My mother had a really bad childhood, and my father had a bad childhood, and I had a bad childhood, but I love my childhood. Even though it was bad, I love it. I feel like it's taught me so much, and I feel like nothing can faze me. Nothing in this world, nothing can surprise me. It might set me back, but only momentarily, only to spring back. And I think it's helped me to learn. It really did help me to learn. And since my mother had a bad childhood, she knows the importance of being honest and the importance of facing each situation as it comes and not dealing in a fairy tale land. Being realistic about the problem and analyzing it and solving it. See what you can do to solve it. So if you have a happy childhood, you tend to want your child to have a happy childhood. So you tend to want to keep the bad things out. And I don't think that's good because you don't prepare them for the world.
So basically, you have to be realistic.
Right, definitely have to be realistic. You should tell them. But don't get the wrong idea. I feel like I'm being gloomy. I don't just be like,
that's what I'm getting.
damn it, it's bad out there. But I mean, when the good things come, and they are going to come, and everybody knows that. Good things are going to come, and you're going to see them for yourself. You're going to see if they're good. But it's hard to see the bad things, and everybody wants to shield the bad things, and that's where it gets complicated and it gets real rotten. That's when everybody gets surprised and, oh my God, I'm committing suicide. That's too much, overwhelming. If it doesn't, if you know about it, it won't be so overwhelming. You know, so that's what I think about that.
How do you just confront it? You said that you had a problem childhood, but yet you seem like you've gotten over it.
Is that, you know, like if you're lost, if you are lost in the wilderness and you have a guide, then it's not like being lost. It's like learning new things as you go through. So when you finally get through, you forgot where you were going to. You just want to talk about the path that you just went. And that's how I feel. Like life, my childhood was just totally lost at first because, okay, I gotta go to the beginning. My mother was a Black Panther, and she was really involved in the movement, you know, just Black people bettering themselves and things like that. My father was a hustler, street hustler, you know. I think he, you know, sold drugs and everything. And how did they get together is beyond me. But I just saw her as a woman doing something, and like, you know. But so my mother and father both had bad childhoods, and I never knew who my father was. I met him, but he died. And
Oh yeah, I remember he saying that in the other interview.
my mother.
I wonder.
Actually, it's like she actually did
What
take me
age
through
did he
life.
die?
You know, when I discovered, at first I rebelled against her because she was in a movement and we never spent time together because she was always speaking and going to colleges and everything. And then
I
after
want
that was
more.
over, it was more time spent with me, and we were both just like, you're my mother, and she was like, you're my son, and what do we do? So then she was really close with me and really strict almost. But now I can see how it paid off because, like, I can talk to my mother about drugs, I can talk to my mother about sex, anything. I can ask her anything and bring it up, and she'll go, okay, well, this is and I can say, Ma, I'm really curious about this drug. And she'll go, I did it, and this is what happened, and I don't think you should.
I mean, do you think other kids can fight with their parents?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't think so. Because I speak to my friends, I speak to them, and they're baffled. They're like, like, my friends can call my mother by her first name. That's a small thing, but it's a big thing to them because they could just come in the house and go, how you doing, Faye? And this is what happened in school. Because she speaks to them. She gives teenagers the respect they deserve unless they show that they're not worthy of that respect. And they like that. They
Yeah.
really do like that. And they react well. That's why I have that philosophy about respect. Because my mother she's totally brilliant, totally understanding and caring. And she's human. I mean, she has mistakes. And
Right.
we have our little tiffs, but I understand her so much. I mean, she'll be wrong a lot, and we can talk about it. So, but a lot of kids can't talk to their parents about drugs because their parents don't trust them to make the decision, so they make the decision for them. And a lot of kids can't talk to their parents about sex because they don't trust them. They think, oh, he's talking about sex, he's out there doing it. So they don't trust them in that, you know? So, plus their parents are just like beat red as soon as you bring up the word fornication. But my mother's totally just, I was scared at first, but I just brought it up one day and we spent hours talking about drugs, sex, and society, and 60s and 70s and 30s and everything. And we just get along really good.
So you can stay with them.
Yeah, I really
Aw.
do. But she's still my mother. I mean,
Right.
last night I came home at 2:30 and she went, you can't come home that late anymore. And I was like, it's the weekend. We had an argument about that. But also it's things that, you know, like, I mean, we talk about things, you know, do you think you should be punished? And I explained it to her, and I really get to talk to her, so she's my guide through life. So I'm really enjoying myself, but it's just that everybody doesn't think like us. So society, I mean, poverty is it's no joke. If there was no money and everything depended on your moral standards and the way that you behaved and the way that you treated people, we'd be millionaires. We'd be rich.
That's awesome.
But since it's not like that, then we're stone broke. We're just poor because our ideals always get in the way. Since we're not yup people, and we're always, wait a minute, let me think about that. Then people tend to go, nope, I guess I don't want you for the job, and I guess you just won't, you know? And so that's the only thing that I'm bitter about, is growing up poor because I missed out on a lot of things. Still growing up poor, you know, I miss out on a lot of things, and I can't always have what I want, or even things that I think I need. So I missed a lot of things like that. But I know rich people or people just well off who are lost. So I feel like my mother made a lot of decisions in her life, and that's what we always say. She could have chose to go to college and got a degree in something, and right now been well off. But she chose to analyze society and fight and do things better. So this is the payoff. My mother taught me 3 things: respect, knowledge, search for knowledge. It's an eternal journey. That's like my haircut, the line. 360 degrees, find knowledge, always.
Nice.
And she taught me to not be quiet. To, if there's something on my mind, speak it. That's what God, that was the breath. She always taught, but also to listen. I'm most like my mom because I'm arrogant. Totally arrogant.
Really?
I agree. I have to say it. Like at work, I can't hold a job. I just quit my job today, actually, because I wanted to come and do this. And it wouldn't let me. And I felt like it was important, and it was more important than serving pizza. And we had enough people.
He spoke about this pizza thing in other interviews.
Like, since I'm an actor, they should understand. They should have let me do it, but they didn't. And then I had a cold, so they were making me work in a freezer. And I'm really not one to be disrespected, and I felt like that was disrespectful because I asked to go, you know. So I quit, and he told me I couldn't quit. And that even made me hyper. I'm arrogant, so when he told me I couldn't quit and we had all these customers, I chose that time to jump on the soapbox, grab my leather jacket, light a cigarette in front of him, smoke, and leave in the middle of a rush. So that was natural. That's arrogance at the top. That's something almost like my mother. And she likes it. She'll see it in me and know it. And we clash a lot because I'm arrogant, she's arrogant. And you should see us when we get in our little attitude moves. It's like husband and wife, or it's brother and sister. But it's father, mother, and it's really father, mother, and son. She's my father and mother. So, yeah, we getting our tips and everything. But it's good. It was me, I admit it.
Okay, well, you were saying how much you liked her. How are you most unlike her?
I'm unlike my mother because, that's a crazy question. Well, since my mother went through the 60s and everything, she's more of a, let me think about this first, then do it. Because I know about how that happens. And I'm more like a
impulsive.
If you get me hyped, I'm a dangerous weapon. If I'm hyper, I mean, even for not like violent, like, but if I'm hyper to run basketball and I have to go to work, I'll be there late. If I'm hyper to do something, I can't concentrate. And my mother can really concentrate. And like in school, as much as I talk about needing education and everything, I goof in school every year. It's just I can't help it. I like popularity and I like being around people, and I just like, you know, talking and everything. My mother's more of a get this done and then do that. So that's what we're not alike, you know, and I trust people more and I'm more open. And since she's been through those things, she's more weary of trusting people, but she does trust people. But I'm just totally just like, oh, okay, you're my friend.
But maybe she was like that
we're
before.
More alike than we are unlike. That's really weird.
Well, you said you moved that lot. So do you feel you're learning enough, or do you feel they can give you a better
Well, I hope I don't get in trouble, but school is, I think that we got so caught up in school being a tradition that we stopped using it as a learning tool, which it should be. Like, up to this day, I mean, school should be, I think there should be a different curriculum in each and every, like, neighborhood, you know? Because I'm going to Tampahi High, and I'm learning about the basics, but they're not basic for me, you know? And it's like, they're not, to get us ready for today's world, that's not helping. It's just what they took, so it's what we're gonna take, you know. And that's why the streets have taught me. And but school is really important, reading, writing, arithmetic. But I think after you learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, that's it. But what they tend to do is teach you reading, writing, and arithmetic, then teach you reading, writing, and arithmetic again, then again, just making it harder and harder, just so, to keep you busy. And that's where I think they messed up. There should be a class on drugs. It should be a class on sex education, a real sex education class, not just pictures and diaphragms and unlogical terms and things like that. There should be a drug class. There should be sex education. There should be a class on scams. There should be a class on religious cults.
He's speaking facts.
There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in America.
Okay, now you're speaking facts.
There should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their classes on
the same thing.
Gym. You know, physical education. Let's learn volleyball.
Yeah.
Because one day we're gonna, you know, it's their classes like algebra, where I've yet to go to the store and said, can I have X, Y plus 2 and give me my Y change back? Thank you. I think you could let me out. I've lived alone by myself, and the things that helped me were the things I learned from my mother and from the streets. And reading has helped me. I mean, school has taught me reading, which is I love. Reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's it. Like foreign languages. I think they're important, but I don't think it should be required.
Oh, I disagree.
Actually, they should be teaching you English and then teaching you how to understand double talk, politicians double talk, not teaching you how to understand French and Spanish and German.
See, I disagree.
When am I going to Germany? I can't afford to pay my rent in America. How am I going to Germany? You know, this is...
I disagree.
This is what I mean by the basics and not the basics for me. And I think that it should be like college. You can go and take the classes that you want. And I think that like elementary school should be that way, where they give you the classes you should take for the basics. And then junior high school and high school should be the classes that you need in order to choose your path. We're not being taught to deal with the world as it is. We're being taught to deal with this fairyland, which we're not even living in anymore.
Yeah.
And it's sad, because I'm telling you, and it should not be me telling you. It should be common knowledge.
Yeah.
Aren't they wondering why death rates are going up and suicide is going up and drug abuse? Aren't they wondering? Don't they understand that more people are, more kids are being handed crack than they're being handed diplomas? I mean, it shouldn't, okay, in school we're learning to analyze, and then, well, I learned it, now they should relearn it. I think adults should go through school again. You know, I think that rich people should live like poor people, and poor people should live like rich people, and it should change every week. And we'll have the best rounded people, we'll be able to deal with people. Everywhere. Look at civilizations, look how we grew. You know, and I think we need to learn from our mistakes and stop just going through emotions, which we're doing now. It's like we're waiting for some big button to be pushed. Society is like, it's like, you know those little things they have for the mice, where they go through around a circle, they have little blocks for it and everything? Well, society is like that. They'll let you go as far as you want. But as soon as you start asking too many questions and you're ready to change, boom, your block will come. And for me, and I hope this doesn't start anything, but for me, since living in a slummish area, and I'm black, mine will come through being a statistic. You know, I'll get caught up in all of this, and one day I'll be with my friends, and they'll go, let's go out party. We don't have a car. Let's steal a car. Forget it. Let's just borrow a car. We'll steal a car, and I'll go to jail for 16 years and come out and be bitter. Knowing all of this, saying all of this, but be bitter, you know? And it should be, like the past elections, watching Jesse Jackson run and watching Dukakis run. Those two people, Jesse Jackson and Dukakis, two people who I thought were going to, there it is. I said, all right, finally we're going to get a better America. But what happened? Bush won. I couldn't believe it, because every time I asked people, who would you have voted for? And they're like, those Dukakis. But how did Bush win? I keep wondering. And then this makes me rebel more against society, because it's supposed to represent the people. I don't want Bush in government. I spent 8 years of my 17 years on this earth under Republicans, under Ronald Reagan, under an ex-actor who lies to the people, who steals money, and who's done nothing at all for me. And I don't think Bush is a bad person or a bad president, because for the upper class, he's a perfect president.
Right.
And that's how society is built. The upper class run it while we talk about it. I mean, the middle class and lower class, we talk about it. And for the working class, we're just lost. We're going through the motions. We're the worker bees. And they get to live like royalty. Yeah, I think so. But even even with children, there are classes. Like even at TAM, there's the lower Marin City class. There's the low white class, the lower white class. There's the middle class white class, and the middle class black class, and there's the middle class. There's the upper class white and upper class black, and that's a shame that it has to be cut in so many pieces, because it all boils down to this one piece of money. That how can this is a big question, and no one's there to answer it, and this is staggering. How can Reagan live in a White House which has a lot of rooms, and there be homelessness? And he's talking about helping homelessness. This is what I mean about practicality. If there's someone homeless in Washington, D.C., if there's homelessness, and he has the White House, which has 1,000 rooms, why can't he take some of them people off the street and put them in his White House? Because he doesn't want to get dirty. The White House would be a little tainted, and when his rich people from Jamaica and everything comes to see him, they'll be, oh, these people, and that's dumb. He wants to build houses and everything. Let him stay in the White House. All those rooms are not being used. Then he'll have people from the streets to help him make with his ideas. These people that are homeless have done things. They haven't been homeless forever. They've done things in society.
True.
They've done things. They've had jobs before, and they've done things. They've worked hard. There should be an automatic. They get a house somewhere and live comfortably.
This is so true.
There are things they can do, and I think that's wrong. I think that's really bad.
This reminds me, I had a coworker. He was the sweetest man. He was super nice. He was very talkative. Like, he was just super, super, super kind, always in a very lighthearted, positive mood. Like, whatever you needed, he will try to provide, just be just a very nice human being. And then it was like not until like my very last week that I worked in this place, I found out that he had been homeless just like a couple years or something months before I arrived. Like, he was homeless, and I just could not believe it. The way he carried himself, how positive he was, it was just like, wow, you genuinely never know anyone's story until they obviously tell you. But like I said, how he carried himself and how positive and I guess not bitter he was, it just made me become more grateful. And as he was saying, if people in the White House or if the president would offer, this would never happen, but figuratively speaking or theoretically speaking, like, if they were to be invited in, like, not all of these homeless people are bad people, or they should not be looked down upon, because they are still members of the society, and majority of them were not homeless their whole life. Majority of people in today's society, they look down on homeless people. Honestly, they don't even look down on homeless people. They don't even look at homeless people. Sometimes we treat them as if they're not even there. I know if I was in that position, I would just want to crawl under a rock, like, just want to disappear in thin air, because that is so cruel. How we just walk past them, don't really help. And I am a firm believer of not taking on anyone else's battles or trying to overdo it, or basically trying to make anyone else's problems my own. But at the same time, it's like, if you genuinely see someone just there struggling, or they're asking for money, that's a good question, because where do you draw the line? Because everyone out here is working, everyone is trying to make a dollar, but where do you draw the line from helping someone or in basically hurtling them because we're giving, but they're homeless? And I honestly don't know. I don't even know how I want to word that question, but I don't know. Like, do you help them every time? Do you just leave them there? But what I do know is how cruel it is for us to just walk by and pretend they're not there and just kind of like look away. I can be honest, whenever I'm in those situations, I do feel a bit uncomfortable, like very uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm uncomfortable talking about it. That's crazy.
I spent 3 years in Baltimore, my high school years, going to the School of Performing Arts. Then, before that, I was in New York. That's where I grew up. That was my total growing up part. We moved out of New York because because of my mother's choices, you know, and she couldn't keep her job because of her choices, because it was too much. Yeah, no, she was calm now. I mean, it was totally calm, but it was like they figured out who she was, and she couldn't keep a job. That should be illegal. So she lost her job.
Wow.
Of course, we were like stranded in New York, and yeah, so we stranded in New York. So we moved to Baltimore, which was total ignorance town to me, because it was just like, I mean, in Baltimore,
I hear a lot about bad things about Baltimore.
Baltimore has the highest rate of teenage pregnancy, the highest rate of AIDS within the black community, the highest rate of teens killing teens, and the highest rate of teenage suicide, and the highest rate of blacks killing blacks in Baltimore, Maryland. And this is where we chose to live. So as soon as I got there, being the person I am, I said, no, I'm changing this. So I started a Stop the Killing campaign, and safe sex campaign, and AIDS prevention campaign, and everything. And then I came back, and I felt like I did a lot of good.
At what age?
Came back. The second week I was in California, I got a call, and 2 of my friends were shot dead in the head. 2 of the friends that were working with me were shot dead in the head. And it's just like, why try? Because this is what happens. But I still try, you know? And I came to California to escape that violence that I escaped.
That's sad.
New York for. Then I went to Baltimore, escaped Baltimore for, came to California. Come to Marin City, and there's skinheads violence. There's racial violence, which I deplore. I can't stand racism in any form, shape, or color. I can't stand it. So what I did was I talked to people and everything, and what happened was TAM is really integrated. So there was a party, and it just happened there was a white girls party, and everybody goes. It doesn't matter. And there's racism, but it's not like that. You know, we understand each other, and we're children, and we're able to talk to each other about it. So everybody went to this party, and I was working. I was going to go to the party right after I got off work, me and my friends. So we got off work, we're on our way to the party. We're laughing and joking, just going through. We see our friend Jonas, who's white, and he's telling us there was a fight at the party. And I was like, what happened? He said the skinheads came and called the black people niggas and made them, said they had to leave, and of course there was fight. I was like, oh my God. So we were sitting there, they went home, we were sitting there talking and everything, and my friends just like, this couldn't happen in the 60s, you know, let's figure out what to do. And he just said, I know, we'll start the Black Panthers again. So we're starting the Black Panthers, but we're doing it more to fit our views, you know, less violent and more silent, you know, more knowledge to help, you know. What we really want to do is get the pride back in the black community, because I feel like if you can't respect yourself, then you can't respect your race, then you can't respect another's race, then you can't respect, you know, it just has to do respect, like my mother taught me. So what we're doing is starting Black Panthers again in Marin City, just getting first teaching pride, and then teaching education, and then we'll see where it goes from there. And also as a defense mechanism for the skinheads, because that's wrong, and I hate to feel helpless. And so skinheads hate black people, and I'm gonna be there. I have this vision of just us growing and them decreasing, because that's how knowledge works. It's contagious, you know. And so if there was war and peace wins out. So I just want to form it and let it work. And I know the skinheads are gonna be like this. So, and I want to take, you know, I just want to learn from my mistakes. And I'm talking to a lot of the ex-members of the Panthers from the 60s, and they're helping me because they're less violent. You know, they've learned. So, and they did a lot of good things in the past, and we can do a lot of good things. So since my mother was an ex-Panther, and talking to Geronimo Pratt and a lot of ex-minister of defenses and everything, so we're going to do a lot of good. I feel like we're going to do a real lot of good. No, I know as soon as I walk out, I'm gonna go,
Oh yeah, right.
But, just to end the importance of growing up just growing up in America I loved my childhood,
But what?
but I hated growing up poor, and it made me very bitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, all right, now I got a job. I quit now. I had a job, and just today I got paid, and I have money in my pocket that I worked for, and that the greatest feeling, you know, that I worked for. I'm just getting a job, and I'm working and everything. That feels good. But I'm still poor. You know, my family is still poor. I'm still living in a poor neighborhood. You know, I still see people poor. I still see things that, like, society this is supposed to be a melting pot, but no one's learning from the other's mistake. And that's where the tragedy comes. Because if we were all open and everything, we would learn from, like, in Marin City, I've seen already deaths. I mean, this lady slashed a man's throat because he spit on her kids. And I've seen teenagers fighting last night over girls. And I've seen guys speak to women with this much respect.
It's
and
ridiculous.
I deplore that. My mother's just totally, I grew up, my mother raised me. So I have this much respect for women, and I fight often because of that. And it gives me a lot of friends. I mean, I get a lot of friends but I get a lot of friends because I have respect for women, ultra respect for women. But then, like, I was liking this girl in Tam, and I'm extra nice, you know, extra gentleman. I'm extra just like, oh, you're beautiful and you deserve the best. And she told me I was too nice. I couldn't believe it. It wouldn't work because I was too nice. That was the ultimate stab in the back. I went for a week and just going, forget it, I'm just gonna be like them. Because they seem to get the girls, and they call girls the B word, you know, and they smack and beat, and they're getting girls, and I'm going, peace, and I think you're beautiful, and they're going, well, I like him because he's masculine. I'm masculine. I mean, and with the guys, and like yesterday he was cursing, and I was like, don't curse, and he got mad at me because I told him not to curse. But my plan is that if I keep telling girls not to let them call you these names, and if I keep saying it, it's going to catch on. Because the girls won't allow them to be their boyfriend if they're going to speak to them like that. And they're going to want me. So in order to not get them to go with me, they're going to have to change, and that's how they change. So I'll be the scapegoat, no problem. I'm going to change it.
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's going to work. I think it'll work out.
What did she say?
So I wanted to change it. So, yeah, I think it's gonna work. I think it'll work out. But I always wanted to make a book out of my life, like a fairy tale. Raised by the Black Panthers and strung out.
Yeah, that's a crazy story he has. Damn, that went quick. That interview flew. I feel like I was listening for about 10 minutes. The greatest fact that comes from these Tupac interviews is how young he was, because it says high school interview, but he's speaking about all these different events, him moving from New York because his mother was found to be a Black Panther, and then to him being in Baltimore, raising awareness on sex, drugs, AIDS, and black on black crime, and then him doing his due diligence in California. It's like, but this title says high school interview. Like, how young did you start? How like, it really speaks volumes, and it leaves me speechless in a way. When I was in high school, this honestly was the least of my worries, being poor and raising awareness on AIDS and then black on black crime. Like, obviously we've had our different movements over time, and then racism is still heavily prevalent. Even if it wasn't in my particular area, like, you see things on the news, all this bad media and everything, but still to this day, I feel like I can relate to what he was saying about a Disney kid. Like, all I wanted to do was watch TV, be on Disney, hang with my friends, have sleepovers. Like, I was in no way, even though I wasn't super childish, like, I was in no way as mature as he was. And as he agreed, like, yeah, it probably stemmed from me having such a horrible childhood, or the the lessons his mother instilled in him, which caused him to be that way. And it makes me go back to my question. It makes me want to refer back to my question, because it's like, do you instill these lessons in your children so that they can be prepared for the real world, or do you let them go about life in such a way that, I don't know, maintains their innocence? Like, I think I want my answer to be like, I don't know, I guess there is a balance. Like, you just have to balance it out, because I swear to you, like, it annoys me how naive I grew up to be, but at the same time, I had such a great childhood. Like, I was super innocent, like I was such a Disney kid, but at the same time, I want my children to be prepared. I want them to have as much street knowledge I want them to have the street knowledge just as much as they have that intelligence, and be as book smart as possible in the same manner. But I really don't know what I would prefer. If I had to choose, I really don't know which I would prefer. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. However, his overall intelligence and his maturity level is honestly what has been intriguing me the most, because like I said, this was a high school interview, and he's human. Like, he's gonna be a young boy or a teenager who's following and flirting around the young girls, wants a woman. As he stated, he wanted the car, and I'm pretty sure he looks up to a lot of different images and a lot of different, I don't know, things that society displays, or things that society say we should have or aspire to. I'm pretty sure that got in his way at one point, but the fact that he continuously chose to be mature, continuously chose to fight for justice, like, that's just awesome for a young boy to do, and I'm completely blown away by that. And I really did enjoy that video. As I said, I didn't quite understand how it flew by that fast, because I said it was 36 minutes, and I swear it felt like half of that. So I'm excited to get into more TUPAC videos. If you enjoyed this reaction, be sure to give me a beautiful thumbs up. If there are any other TUPAC videos that you want me to get into, drop that down in the comment section, and we will react to those as well. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and follow your favorite girl on IG at JShar with an H at the end. You all know that I love you. You love yourself 10 times more. Have a beautiful day or night in this amazing world. Ciao.